competitors out there?
Well, we like to think of ourselves as your neighborhood burger place, but we do a common thing uncommonly well. So, like we talked about a little bit this morning with the quote-unquote better burger places, we try not to compete so much in the better burger space as much as the better food space. So we pay a lot of attention to the ingredients that we source, and then, of course, like we're going to be talking about today, the guest experience. We kind of feel like the moment of truth is every single meal that we serve. So the guest is always sort of making a decision and sort of judging you based on every experience they have with you. So we serve grass-fed beef, mostly organic ingredients, so we spend a lot of attention on that and sourcing and so forth. So, we like to think we're pretty good at making a cheeseburger.
Right on. Well, as a personal fan and adherent to the brand's mission, I can tell you that you're succeeding on those fronts. A little background on the brand. When was it founded? How many locations? Where are they? That type of thing.
Okay, so we started right here in San Diego, in La Jolla, as a matter of fact, in 2007. So we're coming up on our 10-year anniversary, which is kind of a big deal for us. We're currently at 20 units open. We've got 4 that are in sort of the construction mode. This year marks the first Northern California site for us. So of the 20 sites that we have right now, they're all basically in Southern California. So a new market in the Bay Area. We're going to be in Sacramento this coming year too. So this is a cool year for us because we've proved our concept here in San Diego. We were able to expand into Los Angeles, which was an exciting move for us. Not a very forgiving food town, so you're on your game when you hit Los Angeles. And then this year we're going to be moving into Northern California and opening a couple new markets. So as a marketer, that poses some unique challenges and is a fun opportunity for us.
So if you combine the populations of San Diego and Los Angeles, I mean you've got the biggest market in the country, I suppose, right, by those measures. What's the motivation to expand up into Northern California?
Well, it's twofold. So we want to hit new markets because we're always trying to grow and expand the brand. It also will be a bit of a proof of concept for us. So even if you built the brand in San Diego and you sort of have that hometown local boy does good vibe here, you prove it in Los Angeles. You still have a little bit of brand equity because a lot of folks travel between San Diego and Los Angeles. So even though that was kind of a big step for us, proving your concept in a brand new market where you basically have zero brand equity, from an investability standpoint, that says a lot about the company. So, and we obviously know that, organic ingredients and whole food style restauranting, that's going to go well in Northern California because the audience is poised for it. So we think it's an auspicious thing.
And who drives that decision? Do you, as the vice president of marketing, do you play a role in that decision, in that expansion?
So we have a key leadership team. It's a very small team in our company, but we all sort of pull together resources to decide where to develop new restaurants. We do have somebody in charge of development, exclusively, but our founder and CEO, who's still very active in the company, obviously, he plays a critical role in that as well. So we look at sites based on availability, and then we have a bit of a sort of proprietary formula that we put through that's a mixture of art and science to choose the locations. It's a lot of being up there and seeing and feeling the sites. It's data driven in the sense that we pay close attention to demographic information and things like that. And then there's also sort of this X factor when it comes to restaurant real estate that you just kind of have to know it when you see it. So it is a mix of art and science. It's a critical part of our development. A 20-unit chain can't really afford too many sort of bad decisions in that regard. So we pay careful and close attention to it. It's tempting to kind of jump at locations when they come available. There are also ways that you can sort of find locations that aren't quote unquote on market, key money deals and things like that. So, but location selection is a major part of growth, especially a small company of our size, sort of transitioning into that medium sort of real world type business. So.
And I don't know the answer to this, right? We haven't talked about this in advance. Have you had, as a brand, any experiences with opening new locations that did not go well?
Well, I'm not so glad you brought that up, but I'm glad you brought. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, breaking into the Los Angeles market was a tough one for us. We sort of felt, because as leaders we had a lot of ties in Los Angeles and felt that the timing was fairly auspicious to open there. But like I said, it's not a very forgiving market. It was interesting from a branding standpoint. We sort of positioned ourselves as this better food company and purposeful driven marketing and all this stuff. And so when we get to Los Angeles, where San Diego is really focused on eating healthy and around the 2010 and 12 time frame, Los Angeles was sort of moving in a direction of more indulgent eating and bigger portions and things like that, and more experiential restaurant design. So we quickly learned kind of that the Los Angeles food market is a bit of a bubble in and of itself. So we opened number 2, 3, and 4 fairly quickly in Los Angeles. So we started to build some regional equity for the brand, which I think was really key. LA sort of operates in pockets because of the traffic and so forth. So what you're doing in West Hollywood may not be all that well known in Beverly Hills and Santa Monica and things like that. So when we started to open multiple units in the area, we built the region up, and I think that was a very good choice, and it was something that was on purpose that we did. We knew we had to go into that market with a couple, 3, 4 site selections that were really solid before we jumped in. So it was a tough transition from a social media and Yelp standpoint. LA was brutal, but we just stuck to our guns, and we focused on guest execution, happiness and food execution, and just really sort of stayed true to ourselves and didn't jump on the hype bandwagon and hire a super high powered PR firm and go in that. But we focused on who we are, and ultimately I think we built a great name for ourselves. The LA stores are doing very well, and we're really looking forward to doing it again in Northern California. Yeah,
that's a good story. So we've got about 2 minutes left in this segment, and so I want to start the conversation about the customer experience at Burger Lounge. Right, in our audience, and in marketers in general, a lot of marketers think about, okay, well, marketing is it's campaigns and it's promotion and it's advertising. But for you guys, the customer experience is so key. Can you talk about the top 3 or 4 things that kind of go into the customer experience? Give our listeners a sense of all the things that you think about.
Well, we describe the customer experience, or in our case, we call them guests. We describe our goal as every guest leaves happier than when they arrived. And I know that sounds like sort of restaurant cliche, but we're ultimately focused on delivering that every time. And the restaurant game is sort of the culmination of hundreds of little experiences that add up into one big experience. So from the moment the guest sort of starts to engage with the brand, we're focused on that. And like as you mentioned, from a marketing perspective, driving trial and that sort of first guest experience is only the first tip of the iceberg. We're trying to create loyalty and repetition. So as you are first introduced to the brand, whether that be through our website or something like that, or actually come into the restaurant, we are hyper-focused on delivering an experience that ultimately creates a net promoter, if you will, someone that really loves the brand and wants to talk about it amongst their friends and family. So every guest leaving happier than when they arrived starts with the design of the restaurants, the cleanliness of the restaurants, the engagement with the cashiers. We're a fast casual company, so we're sort of judged not only on the quality and presentation of the food, but sort of how fast you can get through the experience, how convenient it is, and how it makes you feel ultimately. So where a lot of sort of other brands are not judged on that, we pay close attention to that.
Okay, we'll be right back. We'll continue the conversation about the customer experience at Burger Lounge after the break. This is Bill Wynn with San Diego AMA on WSRadio.com.
A podcast or radio show on WS Radio is a great way to create content marketing. Turn prospects into customers into raving fans. Contact Wade at WSRadio.com or call 866-WS-RADIO.
Hi, this is Rob Barnett, CEO and founder of VinVillage.com and the Wine and Dine Show on VinVillage Radio. Do you have a wine, event, product, or service to promote? Then contact VinVillage.com to reach thousands of wine lovers across the country. VinVillage connects like-minded wine enthusiasts with unique and exclusive wines, events, products, and services. To learn more, contact us on VinVillage.com. VinVillage is where wine lovers connect.
Hi, Mary. Our growth has me looking for new furniture, but I can't find the right vendor. Can you help?
For sure.
Do you know a company that will give me a great value?
For sure.
Do you know a company that provides great selection?
For sure.
Do you know a company that is professional and responsive?
For sure. It's Shore. Shore Office Warehouse has been providing great value, service, and selection for over 40 years. It's Shore. For sure. ShoreOfficeWarehouse.com.
One person has the power to change the world, impact millions of lives, and leave a legacy for lifetimes to come. That person is you. In the New York Times bestseller, What is Your What?, Steve Olsher, award-winning author and founder of the Reinvention Workshop, reveals his proven process that has helped thousands of men and women discover, share, and monetize the one thing they were born to do. Grab your free copy now at www.whatisyourwhat.com/free. That's www.whatisyourwhat.com/free.
Take a break from politics. Tune in and learn something. WS Radio shows are worth your time and are filled with tips and advice. Add us to your lunch routine and we'll give you a meal for your mind.
You take your smartphone almost everywhere you go. Now WSRadio.com can be there too. Search WS Radio in the Play Store for your Android devices or iTunes for Apple and download the WS Radio application. WSRadio.com on your phone and in your ear everywhere you go. Download the WS Radio application. Do it now. It's very easy. WSRadio.com.
Small businesses are the lifeblood of America's economy. Every Thursday, SBA Radio interviews industry professionals and is dedicated to provide small businesses with timely insights and innovations. Visit www.sbaradio.us for details.
Talk to me.
Information, news, and entertainment on demand.
WSRadio.com.
Welcome to This Week in Marketing, brought to you by the San Diego chapter of the American Marketing Association.
And we're back. This is your host, Bill Wynn. I'm back with Robert Lane, Vice President of Marketing with Burger Lounge. We're talking about his brand's focus on the customer experience. Robert, so we were talking about all the little things that go into that process, right? It's about not just the food, but the convenience, the speed. What else goes into that experience for guests at your restaurants?
You know, ultimately, I think you're truly judged by the food, right? How craveable is the food? How does it look? How does it taste? How is it presented to you? So ultimately, they're there to buy the food. But you know, we think of the guest experience as this culmination of 100 other details that you may or may not even recognize as a guest through the restaurant. For example, we don't have any open trash cans in the dining room. Everything that you do, we're gonna help and do for you. So where most sort of fast casual restaurants, the interpersonal relationship typically ends at the monetary transaction. We're focused on creating sort of a full service dining experience within the dining room of a fast casual restaurant. So there are moments where we're focused on exceeding the guest expectation. You know, the expectation of the guest in a full service restaurant where you have a hostess and a waitress that comes and offers you the water and drinks first, and sort of this routine of expectation. We've cleared the way of that at a fast casual restaurant where you order at the counter and we bring you the food. So when we do have moments of touching the table and offering some of our house-made sauces or fresh napkins and a water when you have a milkshake. Those little moments create sort of we try to exceed the guest expectation in those moments, and they create little memories. And so you sort of leave the experience thinking, well, I got much more than I expected. So where we're truly focused on the food and the food presentation and so forth, we sort of get credit for all those other little moments. And frankly, I'm surprised that more fast casual restaurants don't capitalize on that, because it's a real opportunity to create a memorable moment.
Yeah, and as a guest, I've definitely noticed those. Right, when I go, there are people that come around and ask, do you want a drink refill? Can I get you, more ketchup or whatever like that? And that doesn't happen at the typical fast food restaurant, right? So
yeah,
so that's kind of nice. Now, one thing that a lot of brands do is they actually map out that whole customer experience process, right? They put it on paper, they flow chart it, they put it up, on a giant piece of paper on a wall. Does Burger Lounge have something like that for the customer experience?
Certainly. I mean, this is an endless conversation that we have at Burger Lounge about literally from the moment somebody discovers the brand to the moment that they leave the restaurant. And I'll caution folks out there too, because when we map this out, we put all these things in place to try to exceed expectation and offer exemplary customer and guest service. But you have to be careful, because there can be unintended consequences of those choices. An example of this is in many of our restaurants we have sort of small footprints where we don't have these big self-serve soda fountains. So we serve the guest the soda when they order, and then we come around to the tables and refill those sodas, just like you mentioned, because we want to be able to do that for our guests rather than them having to get up and get their own soda. But when we're really super busy and it's a small restaurant and we're packed with people, it can slightly be an inconvenience for the guest to have to wait for a server to come around to fill up their beverage. So that was an example of something that we sort of designed to give the guest great guest service, but that we had to modify throughout because that choice actually kind of hurt us in some ways. So there's a constant audit of the guest experience through a couple of channels that we have. But every decision that you make sort of has consequences, and you need to understand that that efficiencies need to be in place. But it really ultimately every decision is made through the lens of, will this improve the guest experience? And and that's our key focus.
So we talked a little bit about marketing, or your role in the opening and finding of new locations, right? I want to talk about if we're going to make a change within a restaurant, if we're going to add something to the menu, for example, what role does marketing play in that process? Obviously, unless you're going to surprise me and tell me that you're also you double as a chef. Right.
Certainly not.
So I suppose we should be thankful. So what role do you play if you're going to add something to the menu at the Burger Lounge chain?
Look, it's innovation. So we want to create a nostalgic feeling, very simple, easy to understand, small menu. But we also want to have things that keep you interested. So we'll have a revolving sort of limited time offering of different burgers that we have. Ranging from bison burgers to lamb and elk and chicken sandwiches and things like that. So you're going to find something new on the menu, every 60 to 90 days. But we're going to stay true to that sort of burger, fries, and shake kind of core menu that we built. So there's a balance there. There's also a balance when it comes to operationally executing these menu items and training kitchen staffs across multiple markets and 20 stores and so forth. So you have to be careful about not becoming too complicated. So we focus on innovation without complication, if you will.
Are you ever surprised when you put something new or a kind of a series of new things on the menu? Are you ever surprised by what things work really well and what things don't work as well as you expected?
We have a pretty good gut feel of what our guests want, but ultimately sometimes I am surprised. I give because we're in this space of organic ingredients and grass-fed beef, sometimes I feel like people are paying a lot of attention to whether or not we serve gluten-free or have vegetarian options and things like that. where, that true hankering for a juicy, delicious, melty cheeseburger and a side of fries and a shake, that indulgent audience is still there. And, we stay true to both the sort of the audience that we say is the justified person who chooses to eat with us because we do it better or more healthful, and the balance between that and the ultra indulgent audience who wants that double cheeseburger. So we sort of keep a balance there, and we feel like it's a burger you can feel good about eating, not just an indulgent burger. So I feel like we've managed to tap into both of those audiences.
And it's hard to have any conversation about any part of marketing today without talking about the impact of kind of the millennial demographic, right? The folks that are young adults that are spending their money in kind of new and innovative ways. Can you talk for a second about how your brand's values align with the values of younger consumers in that demographic?
Look, we've built the brand with a purposeful notion to it. So we source sustainably, and we compost, and we do all those things. But when we opened in 2007, honestly, we weren't really trying to tap into anything. We were just trying to sort of open a responsible hamburger restaurant that sort of emulated what our founder built when he was a kid in Northern California, which is local grass-fed beef and homemade buns and organic cheeses. So it really sort of stems from that. We didn't make these choices to get credit for them. We just feel like that's the right way to do business. I think at the time in 2007 when the market was hitting hard and folks were sort of backing off from a lot of fine dining and casual dining experiences, that's when the fast casual chains sort of started to really take off. So I think from a timely standpoint, we hit it at the right time. So we don't do it to get credit from the millennials necessarily, but look, we talk a lot about purpose in our marketing, and like we touched upon in the very beginning, we're focused on not only delivering a great food product, but delivering it in a convenient manner, in a high style manner. We know style points count. We like to design with style. We like to have food with style. So we feel like if we sort of stay on top of that nostalgic menu done with high style and high integrity, that we're sort of in the right place to hit that market. We do focus a little bit on our digital marketing and our sort of electronic storefront, because we feel like not just millennials, but anybody searching to make purchasing decisions right now, they use the internet to sort of educate themselves. And so we want to be in a position online that puts us in the best light and really shows what we're about. So we spend a lot of energy sort of on that first impression digital storefront, if you will.
And speaking of that, I notice whether it's online or in the restaurants, right? It's signage, it's menus. You guys have a kind of a distinct look, right? You've adopted this color scheme and these fonts that look really, to me, really different from any other kind of fast casual experience, right? Can you talk a little bit about how you arrived at that scheme?
Yeah, so this is going to sound a little weird coming from a marketer, but we sat in the boardroom when we decided to design the look of this brand, and we said, you know what, we really want to strip away all of the marketing. So we know that guests want to engage with us to eat our food and to feel good and have these dining moments. They're not there to be taught anything, so we don't want to be doctrinaire. We don't want to have our homepage have blinking lights and scrolling banners of information that really is designed for our objectives. We know that the guest is going to engage with our website for a couple of simple reasons. They want to know what's on our menu, where our locations are, or possibly order food. So when we designed the website, we stripped away everything, went with a starch white background, simple photography, and then the navigation bar was just menu, locations, order, and other stuff. We know if you want to nerd out and learn about us that you'll find it. We don't need to push it forward for you. So I think that flies in the face of a lot of marketing design, which is sort of over-intended to deliver a message and get credit for certain things. But we're in the luxury of the restaurant business where, look, the food is ultimately what we're going to be judged on. So that's what we're focused on.
Excellent. Okay, we'll be right back with Robert Lane of Burger Lounge on This Week in Marketing with San Diego AMA on WSRadio.com. Yeah.
February is a month filled with love. And Shore is sure to share the
like
love.
this game. I like
Bosses should love their hardworking
visuals I see when I go
employees.
there.
Employees should love their dedicated
like the
bosses.
style of the
But
restaurant.
giving
It's gotta
roses
kinda got that
could get
modern
you a
design
visit
to
from
it,
HR.
right? And
So give them a new
visuals,
office
whether it's
chair.
the menu or
Everyone
the,
in their back will love a new
signage, it all
office
kinda
chair.
plays
And HR won't mind. You'll love the great selection of chairs at Shore Office Warehouse. It's Shore for sure. ShoreOfficeWarehouse.com. Se habla amor.
Has your business been appified? Are you tired of doing marketing that doesn't deliver results? Mobile apps build loyalty and quality retention. Your app from UPG Mobile puts your business on their mind and at their fingertips. UPG Mobile will give you a custom app highlighting how you are unique, targeting your message, and improving your open rates. Appify your business and amplify your presence with your customers at upgmobilemarketinggroup.com.
So you did that while we were talking. That's
Take
cool.
a break from politics. Tune in and learn something. WS radio shows are worth your time and are filled with
He's
tips
only had
and
video
advice.
here for a month,
Add us
right?
to your lunch
So
routine,
he's still
and we'll give
finding
you a
his
meal
way,
for your
and we haven't
mind.
made use of it that much.
Kenja Dixon was crowned the #1 sales executive through hard work, deep thinking, and the revelation of Universal Talk Laws. He now wants to share these lessons with you. Universal Talk Laws are what you need to know and use in business and at home to have successful and effective conversations.
Yeah, you gotta figure out
Kenja
how it
Dixon
works.
shares his wisdom, action plans, and wealth. Each book
how you
comes
doing
with
on
a
water?
chance to win
Everything okay?
$10,000.
Okay.
Find Universal Talk
Temperature's better,
Laws
right?
at KenjaDixon.com.
Do you want to be a professional coach? Are you in business trying to make a real difference with people you manage or work with? Have you started a coaching practice that isn't quite getting off the ground? Get the skills you need to be a successful coach today with the Coaches Training Program from Accomplishment Coaching. The Coaches Training Program will show you how to help others focus and be more fulfilled. Whether you want to improve your company's bottom line
next
or
time, if
create
you
a
wanna try to
thriving
stream
coaching practice,
Facebook
Accomplishment Coaching can give you the distinctions and practices you need to coach others effectively today.
I don't know how you managed to do it
Accomplishment
last time
Coaching
with,
has spent
Howard.
6 years developing a cutting-edge coaches training program that will have you ready to coach people professionally in just 12 months, and you don't have to take time off work to do it. To find out more about the Coaches Training Program, just call 1-888-548-6813. That's 1-888-548-6813.
Okay, so I'm going to start.
Small businesses are the lifeblood of America's economy. Every Thursday, SBA Radio interviews industry professionals and is dedicated to provide small businesses with timely insights and innovations. Visit www.sbaradio.us for details.
Talk to me.
Information, news, and entertainment on demand.
WSRadio.com.
Welcome to This Week in Marketing, brought to you by the San Diego chapter of the American Marketing Association.
And we're back. This is your host, Bill Wynn. I'm here with Robert Lane, Vice President of Marketing for Burger Lounge. When we left, we were talking about Burger Lounge's kind of design ethos and how that manifests itself in different aspects of the brand, whether it's in the restaurant or online. And now I want to talk a little bit about social media and how the brand uses social media to kind of obviously the end goal is to drive revenue, right? But is there also a sense of building community through social media channels?
Yeah, so social media is fairly important to us. I think, like we talked about in the last segment, this sort of awareness and driving trial. When people are learning about your brand for the first time, they'll often Google you or look at your website. We're finding that a lot of new users are finding us on social media as well. So we think of social media a bit like a digital storefront. So we have to make sure that we're buttoned up and we look good and we look attractive and craveable on social media. So that's one component of that drives our usage of social media. And we're heavy into Instagram, we're heavy into Facebook. So those are our two main drivers, but we're present almost everywhere. So we have this sort of philosophy of let's make sure we look good so when people discover us, they're attracted to us and they want to come in and try it. Another is to sort of build loyalty, right? So you've got these ardent guests that are following you and posting about you. So we want to reward and really embellish loyal guests and engage with them on that level. We try not to use social media to leverage direct response selling, so you don't see a lot of sales tactics on our social media. We try to steer away from that. There are other ways to sell. We feel like social media is more of an engagement and a visual thing, and we purposefully try not to sell on social media. We do some contests, and we do some influencer work on social media. Look, at the end of the day, it's a fairly small portion of our overall guests, so again, it's not really a big money driver for us. We feel like there's a need to be there for a number of reasons, and if we're going to do it, we're going to do it the BL way and have high style and really good photography. So when you look at our Instagram feed, for example, you'll see great photography, mixture of sort of these life moments and then sort of really intense, craveable food shots. You don't see a lot of sort of corporate photography or like photo session food on our Instagram and social media. You see more real life stuff, and that's kind of our goal, is to show the real experience of Burger Lounge. But just like in any social media, we try to put our best foot forward there so we look good.
Okay, and so related to this, somebody emailed me a question, and what my friend Mike wants to know is he's seen on Facebook a video with a cowboy theme. Does this sound familiar?
Yes.
And so Mike wants to know how this, speak to the concept and kind of what the process was for creating this, how it came together. And I haven't seen this, right? So I apologize.
Okay, so there's a couple of video projects that we've done. We've done the Burger Therapy series, which Mike may or may not have seen, and then we've done these cowboy shoot. So what this is a fantastical sort of moment where a cowboy is discovering the purity of grass-fed beef sort of out in nature. And it's a bit whimsical, and it's a bit sort of fantastical, like I said, and it's meant to show sort of this combination of sort of nature and culinary excellence together. And there are a couple little laughable moments in there, so I would suggest people to check it out.
Well, Mike certainly is a fan. He said they're great ads, so nice work on those. So now I want to talk a little bit now about kind of the spectrum of brands in your space, right? And kind of what you see out of other brands that is inspiring or interesting to you. What you see from other brands that you try to differentiate yourselves from. Can you give me a sense of kind of what that universe looks like for you?
I do think there's a bit of a movement in the restaurant space toward sort of more innovative and cool fast casual brands. So not that fine dining or casual dining is not doing well. It just seems like fast casual brands that are doing innovative things are getting a lot of notoriety recently, and I feel like from an engagement standpoint, you can get good quality food fast now, where that used to be that the fast food brands were bereft of quality. It wasn't there. So we've been able to sort of marry this innovation and high caliber food with fast casual service. So you see other companies sort of building that in. So when folks ask me about my competition, for example, we have a responsibility to pull from a geographic radius around each of our stores. So we focus on who we're competing with in each of our micro markets. And a lot of times that happens to be other fast casual brands, not just hamburger restaurants. So we pay a lot of attention to what other folks are doing from a throughput and convenience standpoint, from a design standpoint inside the restaurant, and then from the sort of the growth of better burger restaurants, we've also learned a lot of what to do and what not to do from other hamburger restaurants. There are folks that have done a fantastic job and others that have sort of squandered resources.
Mm-hmm. And what's an example of something that you've seen that's very successful for another firm? You don't have to name the brand, but what's something you see that is very successful for another brand that you could never see Burger Lounge doing just because your values are so different?
Well, look, I'm not afraid to mention In-N-Out. I think they're fantastic at what they do. They have sort of a Marine Corps efficiency to them. They're surgically clean restaurants. They knock out widgets every day. everybody in the place seems really happy, almost oddly happy. So look, we love that. I mean, that gets us excited. If we could operate with the efficiency of an In-N-Out but still deliver the high quality food, ultimately that's what we strive for. We aspire to sort of have this high culinary menu, but do it in a way with be efficient, but have soul behind it. So In-N-Out they're masters at that. If you think about it, I mean, it's like a hospital room. It's all white. Everybody's wearing white, but they're just so happy. And there's these great dining moments happening in that restaurant chain that I think we all sort of need to recognize how well they've been able to do it. So I'm a bit jealous of that. So when I talk to our operators and we're building out sort of that throughput model, we learn a lot about being efficient, but yet having that each employee sort of having the autonomy to be themselves and have character when they're working. I feel like that's really important, and that in the interpersonal interaction, that's where the soul of a restaurant comes, is those moments of engaging with real people and understanding that these are dining moments. These are people that are there to celebrate a birthday or have a nice lunch with a friend, or maybe just look at their cell phone and scroll Facebook while having a great burger. These are emotional moments as well as sort of food moments. So we try to take it to the next level and have a personality with how we serve. But certainly In-N-Out is one to be admired in that regard.
Yeah. So related to that, this is kind of like half a marketing question and half an HR development, organizational development question. But what kind of training and coaching do your people get to that end, right? Towards managing and improving that guest experience?
It's an ongoing challenge. Developing our training models is something that we're always working on. So to sum it up, I guess you could say we'll tell you what not to say, but we won't tell you what to say. So of course, that the greeter dialogue is scripted out and so forth, but when you touch the table and we tell you, you're not allowed to say things like, is everything okay? Or, or how are we doing today? Or these banal sort of comments that are designed to get a positive response. We want to have a real interpersonal interaction. So we coach our staff members about learning about our guests, create a relationship with their guests. Let's back off when it's time to back off, and talk to them about something personal when it's time to talk about something personal. So we train the procedure, but we don't train the personality, and I think that's really critical, because at the end of the day, the staff sort of comes first. And this is going to sound weird. We almost put the staff in front of the guest, in the sense that in order for the staff to deliver genuine hospitality, they have to feel fulfilled. They have to be happy at their job. They have to really be sort of in the moment. Otherwise, the guest doesn't get that. So in order to ultimately deliver the best guest experience, we're super focused on how happy is our staff, and what kind of employment landscape are we providing for them. We want them to be happy. So ultimately, a happy staff member can provide that hospitality.
So related to that, and we have about a minute left here, right? So I suspect we'll have to carry this over into the final segment here. How do you know, other than revenue and financial numbers, right? How do you know if you're achieving your mission today? How do you know that you're delivering on kind of this mission of your customers being happier when they left than when they arrived?
We have a lot of ways to track sort of guest satisfaction and our performance, but at the end of the day, the key performance indicator for us is traffic. Are people coming back? We're not selling fireplaces, where you buy one in a lifetime or two. We're on a repeat business. So traffic is the key. So we want you to enjoy it, and if you do, we suspect you'll probably come back. You'll probably tell somebody else, and our traffic will go up. So that's ultimately how we judge ourselves. Sales and the guest satisfaction matrix, those are all very important to us, of course, but the key indicator is traffic.
Okay, so we'll be right back for our fourth and final segment with Robert Lane of Burger Lounge. I'm Bill Wynn on This Week in Marketing with San Diego AMA.
You take your smartphone almost everywhere you go. Now WSRadio.com can be there too. Search WS Radio in the Play Store for your Android devices or iTunes for Apple, and download the WS Radio application. WSRadio.com, on your phone and in your ear everywhere you go. Download the WS Radio application. Do it now. It's very easy. WSRadio.com.
On the internet, your business's reputation can be unjustly destroyed in an instant. Don't wait for that to happen. Building and marketing your 5-star reputation can increase your business by as much as 19%. Take control of your reputation and have the 5-star reputation you deserve with Reputation Marketing Solutions by DSI Development. Become the go-to company by visiting 5starrepmarketing.com. The number 5starrepmarketing.com.
Your search for the right office furniture will be done when you walk into Shore for Sure. In our 46,000 square foot warehouse, you are sure to find the right new or used desk and chair for your home and office. Trusted for over 40 years, Shore is proven to provide great value, quality, and service. From free space planning to our white glove delivery service, you are sure to leave happy and satisfied. We're a family-owned business that will treat you like family for sure. Se habla español.
You may have heard me brag about Progressive Medical Center and just how much they've helped me with my health. And Dr. Goli, one thing that you've helped so many people with is migraines.
Unfortunately, there are millions and millions of Americans who are suffering with migraines and headaches, and they're debilitating because it affects the quality of their life, and they cannot function properly. At Progressive, we get the root cause because we understand that migraines could be caused by nutritional deficiencies, hormonal imbalances, believe it or not, delayed food sensitivities. And once we determine what the real reason is, we put a plan of action together with medication that we get them off slowly, and we put them on an all-natural approach, and the results are amazing.
Incredible. I mean, there's so many people that can say they don't live their lives with migraines anymore thanks to Progressive Medical Center.
And that's what's exciting and rewarding to us as physicians, because we help our patients take control of their health, and that's why they're living well.
Why don't you get a hold of Progressive Medical Center today? Don't live in pain. Don't have migraines anymore. Just go to their website, progressivemedicalcenter.com.
This is your life. Live it well.
Did you know the majority of radio listeners are between the ages of 35 and 54, have a household income of more than $100,000, are classified as executives or professionals, and share the show they listen to? Become part of the Peggy Smedley Show to reach listeners looking for information on connected devices through cost-effective radio commercials or segment sponsorships. Contact us at 630-933-0844 for more information, or visit PeggySmedleyShow.com.
Talk to me.
Information, news, and entertainment on demand.
WSRadio.com.
Welcome to This Week in Marketing, brought to you by the San Diego chapter of the American Marketing Association.
And we're back. This is your host, Bill Wynn. I'm here with Robert Lane of Burger Lounge. Robert, when we left for the break, we were talking about loyalty and how you measure kind of your success fulfilling your brand's mission, right, of the customer experience, the guest experience. Do you have any sense of how of what the brand's kind of community of advocates looks like? Is there a pool of people that you kind of use social media to reach out to, or anything like that, where these are people that are super loyal to the brand and recommend it to their friends and talk about it on social media and that type of thing?
Yeah, certainly. There's all types of caliber. So we've got a sort of dedicated email list of ardent fans. You've got your social media followership. You've got your in-store regulars that each sort of general manager can recognize. So those people certainly exist. You know, we sort of break up the audience into three main groups. The first being the indulgent diner, right? This is the guest who orders the double cheeseburger with the milkshake and the half and half, all right? Then you've got the truly healthy diner. This is the person that's on a program like vegan or gluten-free or vegetarian, and we want to make sure that we have options that are not just sort of like filler options for guests that are on a healthy program. We have a paleo burger, for example, that follows the Paleolithic diet. So we want to make sure we capture that guest, and we may actually even market to that guest a little bit more than the indulgent guest because of who we are. But then we have this sort of audience in the middle that we call the justified audience. And this is the audience that really in their heart of hearts wants to eat indulgently but chooses to do it at Burger Lounge because they trust us, that we're going to have clean food, and they want to have those, they want to eat with us because they trust us. So that's a person that that truly wants to eat indulgently but does it with us because they feel like we're doing things the right way. And so ultimately those are the sort of three guest segments that we focus on. But yeah, I mean, you've got your followers, you've got your trusted fans, and we try not to abuse those relationships. We'll tap into them with some new product innovation questions. We'll hook folks up on our email list and social media. We don't do a lot of sort of discounting and promotions, but when we do, we're really generous with our ardent followers, and we'll hook those guys up. And for example, this weekend when it was raining, we sent out an email and gave all of our email followers a big discount on burgers for the weekend. And so we'll do that. Yeah, I mean, we're very pleased to have such a active following.
Excellent. And then, do you guys do any kind of mystery shopper, right? Taste testing things in the restaurants?
Sure. So the way we track sort of guest perception and satisfaction now is, yes, we have a secret shopper program. We're very active on Yelp. We've got pretty good ties through our website to guests commenting to us. We also use a function called Intellytics, which is actually a site selection tool that helps us with demographics, but allows us to track sort of the cell phone usage of where people work and play and live and so forth. So we tap into that for traffic patterns and so forth. But so yeah, I mean, that's a very important part of our mix, to stay on top of how the guests feel about us. It's something that we're going to be sort of doubling down on in the coming year with a new guest satisfaction tracker that's more survey based. So yeah, it's critical to know sort of which levers to pull operationally and what the guests are paying attention to in terms of their experience. We're so far inside it that often we think something's happening, but we're not quite sure, or something completely foreign could be happening that we hadn't thought of. So it's important for marketers, when you're so far inside the brand, to be able to step outside and look at yourself from the outside and really not believe your own press. Even if things are going well and you feel like you're gaining and you've got innovation, you can never sit back on your laurels. You always have to be looking for the next the next lever to pull to drive sales.
Yeah, and of course my audience will want to know if you're accepting applications for the taste tester role at Burger Lounge. One thing that I'm curious to know is it sort of feels like these days that we're being surveyed to death a little bit, right? Like you can't go anywhere or do anything online without somebody hitting you up with a survey, right? Just about any website you visit these days, you get invited to complete a survey. How will Burger Lounge kind of navigate that minefield and ensure kind of a high rate of response? Any thoughts on that?
Yeah, that's a great point. It's all in how you deliver it. So my feeling is that the guests who love you and the guests who have had a bad experience, and even if a guest who loves you has had a bad experience, they want to tell you. So you have to have channels in place where guests can tell you. They want you to know. They love your brand. They want to engage with you. They want you to be better. They want you to have fewer mistakes. So they really want to tell you. So the key is to get the surveys into the hands of the right people in the right way without interrupting or being annoying. So yeah, I don't think there's guests out there that are going to have this complaint about Burger Lounge. We're very judicious in how we do things like that. But that is the key to me, is don't just tell your cashiers to tell every single guest you have to fill out the survey and give them the Sharpie to circle the receipt. Have some sort of personality behind it and give the guests who want to tell you something about their experience the opportunity to do it, rather than trying to force everybody to tell you how to do it.
Okay. And then tell me, if you would, what does the future look like for Burger Lounge? What do you guys have planned kind of for the next 1, 2, 3 years?
So new sites, new markets. I think that's going to be critical for us, is proving the concept in new markets. The food innovation will always be there, but we're going to stay true to our pure, simple, delicious menu. We're not going to blow out and do Burger Lounge Expresses on every corner or anything like that. Steady, contiguous, smart growth, I think is best how I would describe it. And then continue to grow in a way that we maintain the soul and personality of the company that we built. A little restaurant chain out of La Jolla, California, focused on guest experience and great food. We can't allow growth to trump those key values that we built the company on. So our goal right now is to expand, and keep the soul of the company and not become so over corporatized that it doesn't feel like the Burger Lounge you fell in love with.
Is that a legitimate concern that the company could become big to the point of kind of being unwieldy and lose track of those roots?
Well, I think we've seen it a million times, right? So when companies sort of expand too fast or go into disparate markets where they don't have control of their operations or franchise too quickly as a business model, I think the wheels can fall off very quickly. It's expensive to do it, obviously, so you're always sort of tempted to take a little bit back from food source and you take a little bit back from labor costs, and but you can't do that. When you're we're 10 years old, but we still feel very young as a company. So we're investing in our labor, we're investing in our training, we're investing in our supply chain, so that we don't have to sort of pull away those key elements that you fell in love with the brand for, and sort of grow too fast. It's real. It's there. So you have to pay attention to it, and you have to monitor the guest experience throughout. And we're very focused on that. Like we know that we've seen it a million times where companies have grown too fast and floundered a good thing. We're not going to be that company.
And we talked about the brand's kind of design ethos. I'm a fan, right? I like the visuals that I see when I go to the restaurants. I like the way that kind of the modern design of the restaurant kind of echoes that ethos. Could you ever see doing any kind of redesign, or is the company totally happy with everything visual that goes on at the restaurants?
Well, you can't get stale, so we're constantly redesigning parts of it, even though you may not see it. We've put a lot of dark grays into our palette this past year or two, which hasn't been there before. You have to sort of constantly innovate, but there are a lot of trends out there. You have to sort of steer clear of the trendy redesigns. Staying true to who we are is key, but we're always going to grow and innovate aesthetically. That's important.
Great. Robert, thank you so much for joining me. I learned a lot and had a great time. We'll see you next time on This Week in Marketing with San Diego AMA.
February is a month filled with love, and Shore is sure to share the love. Bosses should love their hardworking employees. Employees should love their dedicated bosses. But giving roses could get you a visit from HR, so give them a new office chair. Everyone in their back will love a new office chair, and HR won't mind. You'll love the great selection of chairs at Shore Office Warehouse. It's Shore for sure. ShoreOfficeWarehouse.com. Se habla amor.
Do you want to be a professional coach? Are you in business trying to make a real difference with people you manage or work with? Have you started a coaching practice that isn't quite getting off the ground? Get the skills you need to be a successful coach today with the Coaches Training Program from Accomplishment Coaching. The Coaches Training Program will show you how to help others focus and be more fulfilled. Whether you want to improve your company's bottom line or create a thriving coaching practice, Accomplishment Coaching can give you the distinctions and practices you need to coach others effectively today. Accomplishment Coaching has spent 6 years developing a cutting-edge coaches training program that will have you ready to coach people professionally in just 12 months, and you don't have to take time off work to do it. To find out more about the Coaches Training Program, just call 1-888-548-6813. That's 1-888-548-6813.
Has your business been appified? Are you tired of doing marketing that doesn't deliver results? Mobile apps build loyalty and quality retention. Your app from UPG Mobile puts your business on their mind and at their fingertips. UPG Mobile will give you a custom app highlighting how you are unique, targeting your message, and improving your open rates. appify your business and amplify your presence with your customers at upgmobilemarketinggroup.com.
Looking to be a successful entrepreneur? The virtual assistant industry continues to be a top choice for those looking to start their own business. The problem can be how to become a virtual assistant. Many turn to the Bible of the VA industry, the book Virtual Assistant the Series, and it's the perfect guide for office managers, executive assistants, and other administrative professionals looking to make the transition from employee to successful business owner. Go to vatheseries.com to get your copy today.
Hi, Scale listener. This is David Finkel, co-host with Jeff Hoffman of Scale Your Business. I wanted to let you